now, this is podcast like number 5.
Yeah.
But we're going to kind of go back, kind of explain what we're doing, which is we're creating a podcast which is going to bring business people in the community together. That's kind of our whole goal. So we're going to try to do segments of where we connect everybody together, and you know how that's all going to work. You can explain all that. But for the most part, I want to, we do a lot of collaborations at Odd Moe's with, like Michelle Ashlie and Sandy Ann Brewing and, places and stuff. And we're the Marion Berries right now. And so Salem Capitals, I can go on and on and on about some of the collaborations. Even with 4th of July coming up, we're putting pizzas in all of the fireworks stands, that we can help them, and so we're doing an awful lot. But the focus of this podcast is going to be having a community member come in, a business owner come in, and then interviewing them a little bit. We're just communicating. We're just going to be talking, right? Then I bring another one in and they kind of have us all three together, and then we talk a little bit about business, and then our first guest would leave, and our second guest would be able to tell a little bit more specifics about their business. I think it may evolve into the first guest comes in, the second guest comes in, the first guest stays.
Right, kind of like a Tonight Show type.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah. But I do like the idea of bringing business people in and kind of hand-picking or trying to pick people that we feel like, maybe they don't know each other. We're probably going to have some that know each other, but for the most part, it's going to be trying to connect people in the community that do similar things that can help each other. You talked about it a lot in what you do, where you're creating a nucleus around you of people that are in the same industry but have strengths and weaknesses, and you're connecting all those dots. And so I think it would be really neat to bring people in the community together to do those types of things, because everybody always looks at what you do in a business, like all the pizza people, we're all in competition. You know? Oh God, we're going to be in competition. It's not really the case. We all have, we got, that.
That's how your businesses grow, is networking.
So,
and being in the community.
And so that's really what this podcast is going to be about. We've done a couple different versions of podcasts, but that's what this is going to evolve into. So it's going to be kind of more of a community networking than, me yucking it up, talking about how much I love the Blazers and how much I love the Seahawks.
I love vacations.
And I love vacations, stuff like that. Well, there may be a little bit of the vacations.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll touch on sports a little bit. But for the most part, it's going to be bringing people in the community together and letting them get their message out in kind of our way, and using our platform and,
Yep.
So that's it, really.
Yeah. Cross engagement for everybody.
Well, really, it's just I'm selfish because I'm telling them it's all about, hey, bring it out, get your message. But I get to meet a lot of really awesome people.
Yeah.
And I really get to hear a little bit more about them in depth. And it's like a lot of our conversations have happened off camera. Like, they come in, we start chatting. I'm like, I was curious about this and that. And then it doesn't really translate, because then we come in here and we start talking about other things. And so it's interesting that I get a lot more.
You're like, Ashlie, lock me in the room before they get here.
Yeah, I've got to start.
So then we can only talk as soon as you let them in the room.
Like we just had Danny Summers from Advantage Heating in there, and we had a great conversation out there, like half an hour of just like, it was great. And then we came in here and we did our podcast. It was great as well, but it was just different. And so really it's hard, because all business people we all work really hard.
Yeah.
And so when you get
and
into
you're still getting the groove of this. You're still getting the groove.
Yeah.
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 It's been a process, but it's cool. That's the part of networking, with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's learning and growing and getting ideas. And
so that's kind of what we're going to evolve into. And so now let's back up a little bit and talk a little bit about how we got to here. So go ahead and tell everybody, like, kind of where you started and how we connected, and then how it's evolved.
So I started working with a foundation called Kicking Cancer. I was introduced to Barron, and just from me having a conversation with a gentleman named Chris Fundrick, talking to him about how I've done things on social media, like on a personal level. But he's like, you need to meet Barron. And so I found out that they had a radio show on KSLM radio. Shout out to them. But they have a radio show, and I'm like, why don't you turn that into a podcast? Especially the topics that they're talking about, cancer survivors and stories that may touch other people, that help them get through whatever they're going through on that side of things, and living holistically and things like that. Better knowledge and taking care of yourself. I'm like, people would really like to watch that. He's like, who would want to watch an old bald guy? I'm like, well, people watch Joe Rogan. So,
Yeah.
so then for about 6 months, I really, I dedicated myself to like helping them on their journey. I had no idea that I was going to turn it into a business for myself, but that's just where the universe guided me. And so I started my own business back in October, ALM Media Management. And in the midst of that, there was an episode where you came on, but I feel like you were there like just with pizza, like, I know what's going on here. I got to get in this.
I was actually just walking on the street carrying pizzas like everybody thinks I do. Everywhere I go. This morning in Networks at 6 o'clock in the morning, they go, did you bring pizza? Really?
That's
really?
Funny.
No, actually, Barron invited me on. It was kind of one of those things. And I deliver pizzas to him whenever you're doing podcast.
It was cool. That's how we met.
Yeah, so it was more organic than staged by any means. I'm not that
and I'm just
clever.
Joking.
I'm not that clever.
But then we connected, and literally it's been a year that we've been working together, and I think it's been about, give or take, like a year and a half that I've been working with Kicking Cancer.
Yeah.
And so in the midst of that, I've definitely expanded my knowledge in everything that I'm doing. I'm forever learning. I don't try to come across to people like I know everything. I hate that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't know, but give me a day. Let alone I don't let grass grow, and everybody that I work with, they know I don't let grass grow. And sometimes it will be like an hour after I said, oh, I'll let you know tomorrow. But I'm forever teaching myself. But I have definitely learned that in this community that we're in Salem, Oregon, and I would see it everywhere else too. It's all about, and when you're in business, it's all about the community that you engulf yourself in.
Can I back up a little bit?
Yeah.
Grass growing?
Yeah, I don't let grass grow.
What is that?
So, like, if you give me a project,
okay,
and I said, okay, like, it's going to be done in like a week. No, most of the time it's done in like 2 days. You know what I mean? Like, I don't let grass grow. Yeah. So if I'm going to teach myself something like how to use new microphones or new programs, I'm going to teach myself, like these microphones that we're using.
Yeah.
I took 2 hours to teach myself how to use these microphones. So I don't sleep on anything. And the way that Google is now, it just has AI in it. And so the people that are out there that are like, oh, I don't know. And they're like asking everybody, and I'm like reminding them, open your phone up.
Yeah.
Go on Google.
Well, we were just doing it out there.
Click the microphone and say exactly what your thoughts are and the question you have, and watch what comes back.
I haven't advanced that far. I'm still kind of.
Because it's really amazing. Like
it is amazing what you do. It's scary though. What it's evolving into. I mean, I saw you having a conversation with your assistant, as you'll call them, on your phone, and they sound like you're in a conversation with a girlfriend.
Right.
You're like, oh my gosh, right? She goes, oh, you're so.
Mind you, we're talking about ChatGPT.
Yeah.
yeah. So.
Well, it's getting very personal.
I tell people though,
even with tone and.
Don't use it on a personal aspect. It is an amazing tool for especially content creators or people that just have so much on their plate. If you structure ChatGPT correctly, it saves you so much time logistically. It's really learning from you, from the information that you give it. It's not like it's doing the work for you. I mean, it does. It cuts, like 15, maybe 30 minutes, or maybe a 2-day project into something that could be 15 minutes.
It's hard though. You still have to go through the entire thing and tailor it to what you're trying to say.
Because you still want it to be human. You don't want it to be like, you did that? No, you didn't do that. So I still go in and I mess with it, but I don't do therapist sessions through it. Please, I highly do not advise that. Don't do that. Just don't do that. I mean, if you want to do astrological charts and things, okay, cool.
Well, we've had, when this first started, all the social media and all that kind of stuff, you get a lot of help from people that don't know your audience.
Yes.
And I remember like my Auntie Bonbon would comment on a post and they'd reach out to her, you should try the pizza and all that stuff. And so it's like, they don't really know your audience.
No.
It's a gut response, on this. This is like the standard to this, to this, to this, to this. And I think that, AI still has a long way to go before they understand the human element, or at least the connections of everything. And so you got to, for us, it's like it just disconnects us in a way.
If
And
you
so
if you feed it the right information, it really does cater to whichever brand you're trying to get out there. So like I have a structure for kicking cancer. I have a structure for you. I keep my like business page a lot more personable as the post that I'm like resharing things that I'm doing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you know what you're doing and feeding it the right information and telling it like you still want that human aspect, you wouldn't even know. You would not even know.
No.
Yeah.
I know it's getting kind of crazy, but
Except they keep adding in those dashes, which I used to use those dashes before, and now it's kind of like ruined it for us. So.
well, I think with learning the AI though and learning how to use that, it's still a tool.
Oh yeah.
It really, you're still the one that has to guide the whole thing from beginning to end.
Everybody who knows me, I hated the thought of using it.
Yeah.
I hated it. And then just a couple months ago, I started using it and really like embracing it and learning and watching different people, explain how they use it for businesses and things like that. And you start to learn how to talk to it. Some days it can get kind of sassy. Yeah. And you got to check
Mine would
it.
have a variety of foul language.
We need to talk to
broken
HR.
sentences, and it would be like, AI is like, that's like a double entendre. And by the way, you can't end or beginning a sentence with the same word.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
something
you
like
have
that.
to
I mean,
lecture it. Like, what are you doing? I just told you 5 times what to do, and you're giving me the same thing over and over. What, are you okay?
Well, I think it's funny, with just my phone, like it'll interpret what I'm trying to say, and I'm like, that's not the word, that's not this, like, and I'll read it, and I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense, and I started thinking like, maybe I don't make any sense, which is not a stretch of any imagination, but I just, it's interesting that I really have not. It doesn't work for me yet.
It's cool how you can just literally talk to it and tell it all your thoughts. Even if it just comes out like a bunch of banter and you're like, make something of that. Like, help me out here. I don't have the energy to even like make this paragraph. And it will. But you just have to give it the right information for it to cooperate. Like I've been doing, I don't know if a lot of people know about the Bigfoot videos on TikTok and things like that, but what it took for me to make the alien video that I did, I learned a lot. You're not just using one program.
You did one for the Marion Bears where you actually used their mascot, the bear, which
Turned
is funny.
Frankie into a bear.
Well, no, it's Luis.
Was it?
Yeah, and what's funny about that is I asked him, I said, hey, do you mind if we use that? And he laughed at me and says, actually, my boss already put it on his Facebook. So it was like really kind of funny that and so those kinds of things are interesting how they kind of get out there, but they're fun.
Just like the babies doing I taught myself how to turn
Well, you turned me into a baby. I've got one that says like, I crawl for pancakes. I'm like a little baby.
Turned James into a baby. He got mad at me though, and I'll say this, I'm sorry. Okay. It was AI's fault. He's like, I'm not white. So I'm like, okay, I made him a new baby. I made Michelle Ashlie a baby. I learned how to do that in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I'm going to figure it out. That's what I'm talking about. I don't let grass grow.
Yeah.
And it's all about trends too on social media.
And they go quick.
They do.
How fast things wear out, especially when they're really...
Yeah.
But I think if you can stay in front of it like you are, you just kind of keep moving with it, then it's good.
Like the ideas that we have for the commercial that we're talking about doing, it's churning in my brain because you have to structure certain things. But AI is tricky if you use it for the right reasons and things like that. It will start to cater to, so like if you tell it specifically in the beginning which group you're associating the conversation with. So I'll tell it I need something for Odd Moe's. It knows already, because I've already been doing that, structuring it. Same with kicking cancer stuff or Jiffy Lube. You just have to make sure you say that in the very beginning. Yeah.
Well, I tried one of those video ones where they create a picture. So you type in everything you really want it to be, and it creates a picture.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of those AI Bigfoot videos and the alien one that I did, that's where you start at actually for that content after you've brought it over to
Well,
two
yeah,
other
that's where the yelling
programs.
started right there. I'm like, no!
Yeah, so don't use it on a personal aspect. I mean, it will get to know you from your personality, how you talk. You heard mine. It sounds like me when it's talking. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's interesting.
what should I call you? Like, but yeah, AI.
It's going quick.
It is.
And
It
I mean, I
is.
already see what is capable. I mean, like
Yes.
watching you do the things you do, I'm been learning a lot. I
It's
really have
crazy
been
because I
learning.
never thought that I would even be using it on that level. But it's like if you aren't keeping up with what's going on out there, like
Yeah.
you're gonna fall back, you know.
Well, and that's, for someone like me who has, I'm intrigued by it. I'm super
Mm-hmm.
intrigued by it. I think it's like so cool. But somebody's going to have to put a headset on my head and have it walk through life with me because
Right.
I just don't have the, I don't know, capacity to go through like with what you do. And so I have to lean on you. And, but I'm learning a lot. I just think what's interesting is I kind of am riding shotgun
As
what
I'm
you're
learning
doing.
too, though, too.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
so it's kind of
Yeah.
neat. I mean, you're introducing our company into a lot of things that
Yeah.
are going to help us, which are beyond me. Me and my stone tablet and chisel,
Yeah.
approach to pretty much everything. But no, it's been fantastic. And so to back up again, I mean, so you got going with King Cancer, which is something we support and have supported. I think we were the original. When they first started their podcast, we were their first sponsor and remain to be their sponsor, and have tried to help them in different ways, doing different things. We've got the Dragon Boat coming up.
That I'm actually going to be on that too. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
So
And
excited.
I think David's going to do it this year
Is
because, I was going to do it. I went and practiced one time
Mm-hmm.
and then realized that the dates didn't work out with something else. But
That'll
so
be fun.
Kicking Cancer kind of introduced you
Yep.
to us as well. And so it's kind of been an interesting journey from there to here.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back just 6 months where you were at, and then a year where you were at, and a year and a half where you're at. It's been quite a progression. I mean, you really are on fire with doing
As I
what
just
you
got
do.
my grant money as well.
Yeah, that was
Like,
a perk.
Yes.
Well, what's nice about it though is I was really impressed because you're taking the grant money for what it's worth.
Yep.
You're not just going, oh great, we can go on vacation
No.
now.
Nope.
What you told me, you had a full plan on how you're going to do this, and you're going to buy this program, then you had
Yep.
to learn this program, and you had it all laid out on exactly how you're going to spend everything
Yeah.
to grow your business the way the grant was intended to be. And I'm amazed, in our industry, we'll get perks and rebates here and there
Mm-hmm.
for different things. Hey, if you buy 20 cases, you'll get this back, and the little things
Right.
like that. And every time that's happened with our company, we've bought new delivery bags or car top signs or
Investing
uniforms, or
in
you just
your
reinvest it
business.
because
Yeah.
you take those little chunks of money and you're like, oh, okay, so we can finally upgrade this or we can finally do that. And so it warmed to my heart to hear you have that same mindset of growing your foundation, instead of taking some of the highlights and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. But what's coming up next?
I want to go with the flow. Like I don't overthink things even though I do. But I try when it comes to business, I'm just like step A, B, C, D. I'm not going to skip all the way to Z.
Well, most people think they can. But
So I'm a one-woman show. I do the videography. I do the editing. I do the marketing side of it. I write grants. No, I'm just kidding. I do everything. So I'm my own accountant. Like I'm doing everything. Single mom of 2 daughters, very little help. So everything right now, my free time, I'm really taking advantage of that is the summer when my kids are out of school.
Yeah.
So I am going to try to get into some of the networking groups here pretty soon that are coming up. I know they're like every Friday and things like that. It's super tricky for me.
Different times, different
Yeah.
days. It's there's a lot out there. It's
Yeah.
also finding the right one.
Yep.
We've been a networking group for 17 years, and there's full of amazing individuals.
Everyone that I've been to
and-
a few different ones. That's what
Yeah.
it's all about. It's really just like this huge community of people that have the same mindset.
Yeah, I really haven't been to one that I haven't
There's
gained
no
something
negativity.
from.
You know what I mean? There's no.
Everybody's trying.
Yeah.
Everybody's working hard.
Yep.
And so it's
And
it's good to have the
everybody's
time.
recommending everybody.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
really a good way to grow.
Yeah.
With that kind of the substructure of the community,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going through business people, you're going through all that other, that
Mm-hmm.
substructure of. success really is
Yeah.
is by networking and doing the stuff like that. And so
So like right now for me, my thing is just like locking everything in logistically, time-wise, right now, which I'm getting really good at. I just brought on 2 new people that I'm going to be working with and running their social media as well. There's a gentleman, his name's James, and he has a hot dog food cart, and it's Mars dogs.
yeah,
James is really growing on social media. He's not that big right now, and he hates cell phones, just like my dad. My dad hates cell phones, won't touch one. There's those individuals out there, and I get it. And so I'm helping him out right now.
which is a weird twist because
All right. Well, that comes from my mom. My mom
I bet.
graduated OIT, the first IBM computers. I was an AOL kid, like.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I was saying that it's kind of a weird scenario because your dad also is a part of our company.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know. He's going to hate me for that. He's like, I don't want anybody to know. No, I'm just kidding.
know,
Yeah. And I'm going to like
you.
that. Yeah. I learned a lot from him. That's like, I was raised in the pizza business from being a toddler sitting on a cutting board watching him throw dough.
Yeah.
So my mom was the business tech savvy one, and my dad was, in the restaurant business.
Funny how those relationships work because my wife is,
Yeah.
real savvy with that stuff, and I'm not.
I never would have imagined this is where I would be right now, and knowing what my dad's past was and all the things that he did,
Yeah.
running pizza places and restaurants and things like that and dealing with marketing. And then here's my mom, the tech savvy one, and then here I am. My daughter asked me last night, she's like, Mom, what did you think that you were going to be when you grew up? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy to be doing this, and you got to love what you do.
Yeah.
And I really do. It gives me so much adrenaline,
Well, it's
and I love it.
interesting where because being in business, especially starting your business up and growing your business and all that stuff, so many intangibles that people don't think. They
It can
look
get
at the
discouraging.
highlights. They look at just the points of contact that they get from you.
Right.
But they don't see all of the work. A lot of people, they don't. They see the fluff. And they're like, how awesome is that? You guys get to be involved with the Capitals basketball team. Or, oh my God, I saw you at the Maryberries thing, or all these different things. You get all these different things that
Yeah.
we're putting out there because we're trying to, build confidence in what we're trying to do and being a part of a community and doing the things that, are close to what we, how we feel. And that's that's the most awesome thing about being able to do what we do, though, is because we get to do all that stuff.
Right.
But that's just the outside, all the inside.
That's just the frosting.
You got all that. Yeah, you got a lot of stuff to do
Yeah.
to get to that point to be able to make that happen. And that's the luxury of it, because you got to build yourself to a place where you can do that. And then when you get to the place where you can actually really help in the community and do those things, that's when it gets to be really fun. And that's when people get to see more of it, and we're 26 years in.
Yeah.
But with you, it's kind of interesting because of the digital and how it
Yeah.
moves in today's world.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you can catch fire quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And just the amount of things that I keep learning more and more and more,
Your industry is exploding,
Oh, yeah.
but I think that it was like one thing and now it's 1,000 things.
The great thing about that, though, and Chris from Black Label Marketing was talking about, everybody has their own style.
Yeah.
You can be a social media manager or a marketing company, but you also have to realize that not everybody does, let's say, videography. Let's say content like editing or creating. They might just do one of those things, So everybody has a different style in what they do. Certain people will outsource to others, which I'm getting to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to bring somebody else on.
But you got to find the right people,
And
which
holding
is, of
that
course,
standard,
networking, and it's just,
and then you kind of have like that OCD particular, like I want it done like this, but
well, you're dealing
Yeah.
with a ton of artists mindset too, bunch of butterfly chasers,
that's
really.
what's so awesome about it, because everybody that's in this genre of, work, that's what it is. We're all creative minds, I love it. And even though I might not see these individuals out and about or networking groups, still associated on Facebook, the cross engagement between everybody, that is also
Well, that's
amazing.
what that was kind of the foundation of why we were going to develop this the way we're developing it is all that cross engagement, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was, we're
Once
excited
people
about
really grasp what that is, so like you have an event where you were at the Salem Capitals, you also tag the Salem Capitals, you tag all of the businesses that sponsored them, and so on, and so it causes that cross engagement. So that's huge.
And I think what's interesting in the pizza industry, I mean, like you with the networking, you've got specialties now. You have these different things. So in the pizza industry, basically there's 3 categories. You have the take and bake category, the conveyor belt category, and the parlor style or the gas brick ovens, you know.
Yeah.
And so you have those 3, and then you split off a little bit from there because you got the, like Paddingtons or Pietros or things like that, which is that thin, crispy, parlor style. Or then you also have a Chicago style, which also cooks in the same style of oven. And so then you got the conveyor belt industry. And so talking with different people from different industries is great because there's just a different world. But
all the same mindset.
Yeah, but when you get...
We all want to win. We all want to be successful.
Well,
we
there's
all
enough
don't want to
people out
fade
there.
away and disappear.
Yeah.
Just like, I'll say this, Red Lobster, they were about to go out of business, franchise, and then they just hired a new CEO who was like, you know what, we need to do something different. And they brought on like $5 margaritas, and they brought on the, what are those the boils, the crab boils? Yeah. He just.
Well, I haven't been Red Lobster for...
It's exploded. Yeah, exactly. So they just hired him right before they were talking about like closing locations.
Yeah.
And so then he came on, and we need to do crab boils and $5 margaritas, and it's blowing up right now.
You have to reinvent yourself sometimes.
And also people...
Especially companies that have established themselves for so many years.
They get stuck in the mindset of the old ways, and they forget that things are forever changing, and you're going to have that younger generation that has that fire and has those ideas, and then...
Why am I in front of a camera right now? It's nothing to do with the fact that I want to be any level of celebrity, and you know that. That's why you're laughing that, because I'm terrified.
You feed off of it, though. It gets you excited when you have minds like that. But business is forever changing. And when you let go of the reins and you're like, okay, I trust you. But right now it's blowing up for them, you know? And that's what it's all about, is winning.
It's exciting.
Let's flip this script and let's try something new, you know? Yeah. It's fun.
No, it's there's a lot of energy to it, that's for sure. But
There'll be times where I'm like done editing at like 10 o'clock at night and I'm like, oh my God, the adrenaline. I need to stop because I'm just like so excited by it, you know, and that's the reward that I feel from it. That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure.
Well, I know when you send me content, you know, it's like you send it to me, you're like, why haven't you answered me yet? You know, like,
I'm like, you need to check this, you need to verify.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And it's exciting though. I mean, I have to say that when we started doing a podcast, when I first started doing a podcast, it was with AJ and you know, Gage came in and you know, so we had a couple guys kind of come through, and then we, you know, was being able to sit down with all these people, you know, and be a part. I love that. That was like the really cool thing, is to sit over here going, oh,
right,
you know, and connecting with people in a way. And I have a hard time, and I'm learning this, and I'm getting better at this, is when somebody is talking about something that excites me, or I get, you know, like, oh, that's really cool. And I mean, this would be, you know, and I just want to dive in, and it's hard realizing that, you know, when you're behind a camera and you're doing this kind of thing, it has to be like you're sitting at a dining room table or something like that. It's not like it's not like 2 kids running around going, "Oh my God, did you see that?" You know,
right.
There's just, you got to kind of slow down a little bit and say, "Okay, quit getting so excited,"
right?
Because then you just start going, like 2 cats.
And then I'm sitting there in front of the computer and sending you snippets of like, "Haha, you did that. I got to cut that out."
Well, there's a lot of tailoring to our things, but really, that's the cool thing, is you get to meet people and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize we had that in common. Or I didn't realize that, you know, you were also doing that. And then, and how did you do that? And I mean, you just really, I like that part of it. And that's why I was saying it's kind of weird that out there, when we're not on camera, you can be a little bit more goofy.
It's more candid.
Yeah, and you come in here and you're like, thank you for being a part of our podcast. And
You're getting better. You're getting better. You just don't. I do it too. You can't overthink.
Well, it's just
You can't overthink.
but it's that balance. It's
Oh, I know.
understanding that you got to kind of have to do your thing.
Yeah.
And if anybody that knows me,
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
As you're focused on, okay, what questions do I have to ask?
Oh.
When do I ask them? How long do I let them talk?
It's just I'm like I mean, before I come in, I try to have a couple cups of coffee so it calms me down.
Yeah.
And let that caffeine just kind of level me out. And then I can try to have a good normal conversation. But since I'm already uncomfortable being in here and something is staring at me,
Right.
and I know that, and then I'm talking to people that I've a lot of times I've never met before, and then you get into some, you're trying to cover some bases, you're trying to do all that stuff. I think that if I could just, and I'm learning this, if I could just be myself more and not overthink all of the process, it would be a lot better. Like when I'm out there and I'm not in front of everything and doing all this stuff, then it's like I really have great, like it's just great engagement. You come in here and you try to manufacture that because you're thinking about it. It's just tough. That's probably the hardest thing for me is getting past all of that and just having an engaging conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
And
yes.
keeping it on track.
From where I was working at previously, I think that's what opened me up like I am right now because I was waitressing. And before that, it was when COVID was going on. So we were all stuck at home, and so it brought me a lot of confidence. It made me realize, like, stop worrying about what people are thinking. You still got to hold a standard to yourself, but, it definitely helped in how I talk to people. Now, it's funny because everybody that I have a relationship with, I will send voice messages to. Because logistically, it's just faster. But you get me in a room full of people, I'm like, hi.
Have not seen that side of you yet. Have not seen that side.
I don't want to mess up talking.
I never did that whole voice thing you do. And now that's how I communicate
Everybody that I start talking to or building relationships with, when they haven't done it either, like yourself, now they do. They're like, you're right. It's so much easier when you're driving. It just takes 1 minute for a paragraph that you would have been stuck reading. I got to pull over. But with me personally, on the bigger spectrum of things, I plan on growing. I plan on bringing a person in to start helping me. I don't know where yet because I have to let go of the reins a little bit, and trust in them.
I think your first stage really is networking.
Yep.
Getting people that are professionals in the industry and finding exactly who you want to work with, who you can rely on, to have your standard and things like that. It's just like with us hiring employees that represent what we're trying to accomplish. And so for you, it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's just except for you're dealing with professionals and I'm dealing with youthful enthusiasm of young children or young people. Yes, and they're in that turn, where they go from being young, to adults or young adults, and so a little bit of knuckleheads. But hopefully, they're dealing with some professionals.
Yeah. No, it's getting good. I'm really just locking in logistically and trying to get myself out there into networking groups more, and making myself more relevant. But I know people are looking at my business page. I see when they're like, "Oh, you have a new view. You have a new view." So word of mouth spreads. And I'm just trying to spread those business cards out to everybody. So then they are like, oh, don't you know her? Oh, yeah.
And here you are pushing the button going, Mike, why? Why did you do that? Why did you put that on your Facebook site? Or what were you doing? I'm like, I just wanted to share a picture.
Yeah,
but
that's called social media management.
I
literally am having to check on Kicking Cancer, yours. I check on 2 other ones, and I'm just already on my phone. That's why at a certain time I will turn my phone on silent and I throw it because I could be on my phone all day.
Why did you mean to put that on the Odd Moe site? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was on the Odd Moe site.
I just left it for you.
And then you're like, well, you need to push this button, and you need to do this. And it's like, okay.
That's like I was at the bank, and the lady that was helping me with my grants money, she was like, yeah, we're doing something for the Reed Opera House. And she's like, help me.
Yeah.
Can you give me some advice on like how to set up a new Facebook when they have an old one? And I'm literally sitting there for like a half an hour giving her a breakdown of like some tips and things like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of layers to it.
And then speaking of layers, I just learned something. So being content creator, if you're taking an image for a business, if you bring it over into another program where you can like add verbiage or change the size and things like that, if you take and add like hashtag and your business name, you could add a few like keywords in there and put it underneath the photo so you can't see it, but the words are there, you know what I'm saying? But it's the pictures on top of them. So that actually boosts your content and the algorithm. You can do that for videos. You can do that for pictures. You can do that for sounds. Yeah, I just learned that. So I was telling her, I was like, if you want to boost your algorithm, here's a couple tricks I learned just recently. So it seems like lately everybody's like, Ashlie, give me some tips. And I'm just like, that's $10. No, I'm just kidding.
You just carry a tip jar around with you.
Right.
The tip?
I'm like, here's my cash app. No,
It's hard though, because what you're doing is as you do that, you're growing and your name is getting out there.
And that's the networking. I would rather help someone right now and get to a point where they're like, okay, let's really work. You know, let me show you what I can do. You know, I'm just trying to build a name for myself.
Well, you're ground marketing right now, and so you're going to give a lot of that. I mean, why do we give away so much pizza? You know, why do we take pizzas to business? Why do we, all that kind of stuff? It's just we're trying to get our product out there, and once people taste our product, hopefully they'll give us a call and order a pizza. So really, you're going to do almost similar thing. You're just going to go away and give out a lot of free tips, a lot of free advice, a lot of free this, a lot of free that, and be genuine in showing people. I mean, Chris from Black Label was just talking about how that's, just kind of the culture that you create. It's like, listen, I'm not,
And that's like with a lot of the content creators and things like that. There's no negativity on that side of that community.
I was shocked when I considering how volatile that business is and how, how it's just changing and how all these things are happening. I have gotten nothing but camaraderie with the nucleus of people that I dealt with.
Everybody learns from each other. Yeah. Or like they'll be like, oh, I'll keep your info and let somebody else know, which that happened with me with Jiffy Lube and things like that. Like, it's all about working as a team. Even if you may not see each other, you know of each other's work and things like that. It's huge. It's awesome. It's just support.
We had a gentleman working for us who was taking some videos of stuff we were doing with the Capitals a couple of years ago. And Zach Sohn was there, and he was the one that was representing the Capitals and doing all that kind of stuff. And I just watched Zach just go, hey, if you're doing your camera, if you set it on this, if you do this, and this will be this.
He's such a great guy.
And he just jumps right in and just gives him a 30-minute tutorial on how to better use this camera for the situation and things like that. And it's like, this guy's doing the same thing you're doing in the same arena, the same, and that's what I've run into that over and over again. So shout out to Zach for that.
Yeah, seriously.
But that's what I keep running into, and I'm really impressed by that because that really is the way our mindset as a company is too. Is it's really
helping each other grow. You're all on the same mission.
Yeah,
that's the community, the networking. It's
just the funnest part of it.
Team sport.
Because there's just such a unity to that, and
that's what makes it so much more fun.
Yeah,
there's no negativity. It's awesome to see it, and I love doing this, and I'm just constantly learning new things, teaching myself new things, trying to grasp every area of like AI and like what you can do with that. Like you can make commercials now that there's not even a real human in it. Like, so we're getting there.
Pretty soon I'll just be able to be somebody.
You're like, let's go record
AI.
Let's go record the footage. I'm like, you don't even have to do that. I can make you a
just
version of AI.
Make me a baby and put me somewhere,
Yeah, it's so crazy, but it's awesome. It's awesome, and I love that.
Well,
this is where the universe has led me. I love it.
That's the electricity to be able to do that kind of stuff. But pizza was just a business, and boy, I'll tell you, I just kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah.
One, because my brain goes 100 miles an hour in 25 different directions, and the pizza industry has given me the opportunity to be able to do different things.
I say people that have ADD or ADHD, we're blessed because we see perspectives way differently, and we pay attention to things that other people don't notice. And I think that a lot of the things like you do in your business and I do in mine, we thrive on that.
Yeah.
Like we just...
Then you just have to find people that tolerate you.
Yeah, That's fun.
That's the challenge.
But
What's
it's
your
awesome.
greatest challenge? I'm like, oh,
It's
finding people to
awesome
put up with me.
when you meet somebody that is just like you, and we're like, I know.
Yeah.
I know. You got the DD.
The pain of the suffering, of all of that. But
but a lot of the most like artistic minds and like business people in business and things like that, they have ADHD. Yeah. They do.
Which, what's funny? Talking about artists and all that kind of stuff. One, I can't draw for a lick. I can't sing. I got a list of things that artists are good for.
But being great in business.
But I will say that business is providing me the opportunity to connect with a lot of people, and that really is, I gave great strengths from that, which gives me great weaknesses in other places, and so you kind of level those out, and you're like, okay, good, you can be human. I didn't want to take it away. I wanted to use that as my strength, and I wanted to ride that as far as I can. So I had to find people to put around me that have those, that take care of the other side for me. And so, again, working with a nucleus of people that really, a team, everything to be successful. So
it's awesome. I just feel blessed to be doing what I'm doing.
Well, I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I think as fast as things are moving in 6 months, in a year.
Yeah.
And
October will be 1 year that I've been doing this, like as a business.
Yeah.
Before, like right now, I would have been at the restaurant a year ago.
So, 1st of October?
Yeah.
That was when you just cracked the egg, huh?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. Well,
I
should say September 20th is when I was like, okay, I'm good. And then October, I was like, it's set in stone. I filed for my business name, business cards, Facebook. I was like on it all on the same day. I'm like, yep, we're done. We're good. We're starting it.
Do you remember what that felt like that first day?
Oh, my God. Like I said, adrenaline.
Yeah.
Just like excitement, adrenaline, like you're really doing this.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to turn it into a business. I'm just like, oh, I'll help people make YouTube channels, recording and editing content. And then I'm over here like doing so much more than that, Well,
what's nice though is when you finally made that decision to just do it. And you just said, that's it. This is what I'm going to be doing. What's really cool about that is you become a sponge at that point. Because you're like, I need to learn this. I need to learn that.
I was already that way.
And I mean, but as a business,
on
you
a different
kind of
level.
like, it's just like, put nitrous in that system. And know that it's not just something that I enjoy, but then you're like, wow, I didn't realize. And you just keep kind of growing. And 26 years in business, we just in May celebrated 26 years. And people say, what is the most shocking thing? What is the biggest thing that, after 26 years you've experienced? And it took me a minute, and I've shared this with you. It's I think the thing that I'm most shocked about is after 26 years, it's just like day one.
Right.
It's just, you worry about the same things. It just is at a different level, but you still have the same concerns, the goals, every mindset, the same day, 26 years ago, it's the same as today.
Because everything is forever changing, and you have to keep up with that.
But there's so many. In fact, if anything, it's expanded because, but it is crazy that it's almost the same.
My next move is going to be like, I'm going to set a goal for like a 5-year plan and see if I can.
Yeah, have you done that? Have you tried to?
I've kind of done like
a little bit?
I did like a 1-year plan, but I want to like structure out. Usually, I'm really good at like. Once I put my mind to it, that's how it goes, and that's how it happens, and that's what happens. So I just need to put it in place.
So are you working on 1-year increments then?
Yeah.
So
that's why I say baby steps, and I go with the flow of things right now. Because if I do any more than that, it's like you kind of just shut down, and you're like, I'm not doing any of that. So I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I'm just like, at least I'm right here, right now.
People ask me a lot about the goals thing, and I really have not had one. I go after it every day. Some capacity. I'm open. I'm just wide open to opportunities, and I've tried to stay that way. But I don't really have any goals. My wife wishes I had a goal to retire.
Oh, I know.
I'm pretty sure of that.
I know.
I'm pretty confident with that. And but for the most part, yeah, it's interesting. So when people have those goals, I'm impressed that people can have those goals and have something to strive for.
They say when you speak it, when you write it down and you put it into the universe, well, that's what you're going to attract. Yep, exactly. And
Retire,
I've been doing that since 2020, and here I am now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I've gone through a lot in that little increment of time, but that's the mindset that I've had, and so many good things have happened.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Odd Moe's Community Network.
It was a pleasure. I'm
See?
glad. I know usually I'm behind the camera and I'm like, hey, okay, guess what though, guys? I made him re-record this because I was like, I'm too white. I'm blending together
Oh
right
my
here.
God! I know you. Here I am. I struggle like crazy up here, and you're like, "No, it's no big deal. It's no big good." And then you come and go, "We need to redo it because I just didn't look like I wanted to."
Yeah,
It's just not fair.
I'm glad we did this, and many more of these to come. Now everybody can. I'm gonna go back behind the camera, and it's nice to see you guys. And you have a great day.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Odd Moe's Community Networks. Be sure to tune in next week as we sit down with Danny of Advantage Heating and Cooling. He'll share how his idea, backed by hard work and consistency, grew into one of the most recognized names in the Pacific Northwest. You won't want to miss his story of grit, growth, and entrepreneurial success.